Well, the word that stands out for me in this is compassion. It isn't a word that is used too frequently. People talk about being more loving and having empathy for others. We feel inspired by random acts of kindness performed to those in need. But the word compassion stirs something more within me, something deeper. One way compassion has been defined is the active desire to alleviate another's suffering, often shown through empathy and practical help. While empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another, a feeling with, compassion goes a step further by including the desire and action to relieve that suffering, a feeling for. Empathetic persons are often very kind-hearted, but because they are highly sensitive to others' feelings, they can take on the other person's suffering and pain. And if they don't find a way to lift that pain, the empath can become emotionally and physically exhausted, even ill. Compassion is proactive, sustainable, and linked to positive emotions. In other words, compassion is love in action. And I just love this photo because we all know that animals are trained to be emotional support for humans. I had no idea they were also trained to comfort other animals, and these dogs are specifically trained to go into veterinary hospitals and help comfort those who are suffering. Well, when we can let go of the pain of others, either through outer action or inner, by releasing the suffering to the divine through prayer, rather than holding on to it ourselves, it's not ours to carry. If we can do that, then we move from empathy to compassion. And as I recently discovered, hence the sharing today, compassion can also mean putting our love into action by simply opening that love up to something more than it was before. In other words, compassion expands our ability to love, to help us reach our goal of agape or spiritual love, as Flower shared in our opening soul video. Now, growing up in this ministry, I've known about the importance of striving towards spiritual love, but it has been a struggle. It's easier for me to love all the animals and creatures than it is to love all the people. And I particularly struggle with people who are cruel, who harm others. And several weeks ago, I was thinking about somebody in the public eye, no one I know personally, whose personality is repugnant to me. And I just couldn't get past that. There was no way I could leap to the soul. The chasm was just too wide. And suddenly, out of nowhere, the word compassion entered my consciousness. And in that moment, all judgment vanished. And for a brief moment, I was able to see past the personality to the soul, and I felt a spark of love for this difficult person. Well, compassion allows us to see beyond our differences, move past others' beliefs that are in conflict with our own. It helps us move past whatever is blocking us from seeing the soul within. Well, since that experience, the word compassion holds a very special place in my vocabulary, for it carries with it a feeling that is transformative. So now when I found myself being critical or judgmental of someone or a situation, I will think or even say out loud, compassion. And it soothes me, and the negative feelings lift.